Hi, hi, this is Grace Power, and today I wanted to go through a basic guide to sugaring. This is a free PDF that I make available at bedazzle.com. There is a link below the video here to get to bedazzle.com or even to get an instant promo code to use to purchase sugaring or other products at the store. This basic guide is really thorough. I'm actually going to go through the entire thing here with you today, but feel free to skip to the portions that are most useful to you or just download your own and read it at your own time, on your own time. So this starts. Welcome to Sugaring with My Gold Sugar. Thank you for your purchase. We are sure you will enjoy the many benefits of sugaring once you get the hang of it. Learning to sugar does take time, practice, and patience. Don't give up. This booklet is designed to help you get started, and remember, we are only a phone call or email away. We want to help you find success with My Gold Sugar, and we are here to support you. Prepare skin for sugaring. Tips and tricks. Exfoliating the area prior to sugaring with exfoliating gloves, loofah, or washcloth will improve the effectiveness of the sugar grabbing out the hair. You will also find that less hair or less sugar is needed, which is especially noticeable on large areas like arms, legs, and back. There cannot be any lotions or oils on the skin for the sugar to work properly. Even certain body scrubs and soaps can have oils and moisturizers in them that will leave a film on your skin that will make it hard for the sugar to work properly. Cleanse the skin of any oils or lotions. You can use witch hazel to dry up oily skin. Dry the skin, then apply a thin layer of powder. Sweat will interfere with the sugar sticking to the hair, so if you start sweating, apply more powder to absorb the moisture. If you are sweating a lot, using a fan directed at the area you are sugaring will help. Turning up the air conditioning or turning down the heat in the room will help if possible. Even a few degrees seems to make a difference. If the powder starts to get globby because there is so much sweat, then re-cleanse the area and reapply a thin layer of powder. Heating My Gold Sugar. Using sugar without heating. Depending on the room temperature and humidity, you may be able to use My Gold Sugar without heating it up. Some climates require heating to be able to pinch some sugar out because it will be too hard otherwise. If it's the first time sugaring with the ball method, try a small little piece of sugar unheated to practice the flick, which is easier to learn when the sugar is more firm. As your skill improves, you will find heating the sugar first saves time. To get a ball of sugar from the jar, use 2 fingers and your thumb to pinch and pull out a piece of sugar to start with. Use the heat from your hand to warm it up or lay it on your body and mold over it a few times until it is tacky, then flick off. As you work with the sugar, you will notice it will soften from your hand heat and body heat. Heating for paste method, ball method, or stick method. Heating the sugar allows you to grab a piece of sugar from the jar easier and also causes less pulling of the hairs when applying the sugar. You can apply it faster than if you start without it heated. When heating the sugar, you want it to be about skin temperature, 90 degrees Fahrenheit for the paste method. The easiest and fastest way to use the sugar is with the microwave. To microwave it, use a mid-temperature setting and mix it every 30 seconds until it is tacky. You can use a spoon, spatula, butter knife, or wooden craft stick. The sugar will melt on the bottom half of the jar first and on the top half last. That is why it's important to mix it every 30 seconds. Be careful when digging into the sugar with your hand, since some spots could be hot enough to burn you. 30 seconds might be enough time for the paste method. Every microwave is different though, so be careful. Warm the jar in a regular wax pot on the lowest setting or a sugar warmer on mid setting for 1 to 2 hours prior to using. Some wax pots will heat it too much to use as a paste method, even on the lowest setting. So you may need to turn off the wax pot once the sugar is warm to your liking. Sugar holds its heat for quite some time, so you may only need to turn the wax pot on every 30 minutes to reheat. To heat the sugar on the stove, warm up a pot of water to about 105 degrees Fahrenheit, then turn the stove to the lowest setting and place the jar of sugar into the pot for 8 to 10 minutes. Then take the jar out of the water, open the jar, and stir. If you don't have a microwave or stove, set the jar of sugar in a bowl of hot tap water. Continue to replace the water with hot water every 3 to 5 minutes, about 4 to 5 times. Mix the sugar every time you place the water. or replace the water. Do not use boiling water or heat up the sugar on the stovetop in a pot of water. This method takes the longest to heat up the sugar, but it is effective. You could even use the sun to heat the sugar. It doesn't need to be heated very much for the paste method, so this could work well like making sun tea. Place a jar in direct sunlight for 20 to 30 minutes. As long as the temperature is above 75 degrees Fahrenheit outside, it should work. As there gets to be less sugar in the jar, less time is needed to heat the sugar. Even 5 to 10 seconds in the microwave could be enough for a quarter-filled jar. Heating for a strip method. If you're going to use the strip method, you can heat it up to more of a honey-like consistency, about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Gloves. The tighter the gloves, the better. Wearing 1 to 2 sizes smaller helps a lot. Nitrile gloves work best compared to rubber and plastic. Latex gloves can be used if there are no allergies, and it works best to have the powdered ones so they slip on easier. They need to be tight fitting. Gloves will prevent some of the heat from your hand melting the sugar, which is helpful when working on warm body areas and when you're first learning the flick method. Gloves make it easy to clean up. Simply take the glove off and toss. If you don't wear gloves, make sure your hands are clean and dry before grabbing a fresh ball of sugar. For professionals, wear new gloves or use a stick spatula to grab out sugar so you don't cross-contaminate the sugar jar between customers. Professionals should wear gloves, especially on areas where bleeding is more common, like underarms, chest, and bikini. 3 ways to use sugar. Ball method. Good for all areas. Recommended method. Start off practicing with the manageable size ball of sugar. An example, golf ball size. Keep the sugar ball at the tips of your fingers. Use a thumb to help control the ball of sugar. Stick method. This method is good for warmer climates, bodies that run warm, brows, and other areas to make detailed lines. Use a wooden craft stick to take out a small amount of sugar and keep twirling the stick to keep the sugar on the stick. When first learning sugaring, this method is less messy and will help you learn the flick method before graduating to the ball method. Smaller sticks can be used to detail the brows and hairline. Strip method, good for finer hairs. Use the soft sugar like you would use hot wax. Lay the sugar down with a stick and apply the strip. Works best to apply the sugar opposite of hair growth and pull with. You can use cut up old pillowcases or sheets. Other fabric types might work as well as strips, or you can purchase wax strips. Soak strips in hot water to dissolve sugar off, then wash and dry if you want to reuse them again. Supplies needed: powder, gloves, strips, microwave or sugar warmer. Some wax warmers work on lowest setting. Pot with water if heating the sugar jar on the stove. Wet washcloth, cotton balls, squares, scissors, calming lotion or spray for afterwards, sticks for stick method, popsicle sticks or jumbo craft sticks, or even a butter knife. Going back to the first page, understanding types of sugar. My Gold Sugar offers 5 types of sugar consistencies ranging from soft to firm. In general, the softer sugars will pick up the finer hairs, and the firmer sugars will work best on coarse hair. The firm sugar is the easiest one to learn the ball method with because it does not melt as quickly as the other types. Soft sugar. Soft is best for fine hair on cooler body areas, arms, legs, backs. It will not work very well on hot spots of the body like bikini and underarms because it melts easier. Soft is recommended for using as the strip method because it goes on the thinnest of all the sugars. Medium soft. Medium soft will also get the finer hairs but will not melt as easy, so you can use it on people who are a little warmer in temperature. I like this one for facial hair because faces are usually a bit warmer than arms and legs, so the soft can get a bit too melty. The medium soft keeps its firmness better on the face and still gets the fine hairs better than the firmer sugars. Medium sugar. Medium is a good one to use if somebody only wants to use one in their treatment room and they are doing all areas of the body. It can be warmed a bit more to get the finer hairs and used without warming for the hot spots like Brazilians and underarms. Medium firm. Medium firm is my personal favorite for doing Brazilians. It keeps its firmness so it's less likely to get stuck on hot spots of the body. It also is still soft enough to get some of the blonde hairs on the bikini area. Firm sugar. Firm works best for hot spots of the body. If someone is mainly using sugar for bikini and Brazilians, this would be the one to use because it will keep its firmness even on clients who get really hot and sweaty during the service. It doesn't work as good getting the fine hairs. It would still work on brows, but it might be challenging to use on the upper lip. I always recommend this one for people who are first learning the sugaring technique because it won't melt as easy. Once they get the technique down, they usually graduate to medium firm. Tips for success. Start with smaller balls of sugar when getting the technique down, the size of a golf ball. If not using gloves, dust your fingers with powder. Hold your hand in a downward position to keep the sugar in the tips of your fingers. Keep your hand at a perpendicular angle. Don't lay it flat against the skin. Keep the sugar on your fingertips. If it starts to move down into the palm, it will get too warm and sticky. Use your thumb to hold the sugar on the fingertips or use it to push the sugar back onto the fingertips as needed. Molding. Molding is spreading the sugar over the hair with your hand or stick. It is best to mold the sugar in as thin of layer as possible with fresh sugar. After the sugar is worked in with powder, skin cells, and hair, mold over the hair a few times and let it sit so the sugar can melt down around the hair. Mold the sugar slow to avoid pulling on the hair. Use gravity, not force. Molding over the sugar 2 to 3 times will result in more hair being pulled than if you only mold once. Do not press the sugar into the skin when molding. This is a natural thing to do, but it is counterproductive. If you notice you are doing it, relax your hand and allow the body heat and gravity to mold the sugar onto the hair, not force. Flicking. Flicking is ripping the sugar off the skin after it has been laid over the hair. Mold the sugar past the area of thick hair, otherwise it will not come up. Flick, pull the sugar with the body, not up and away from the body to prevent bruising. Try to flick or pull the sugar fast to help prevent pain. Hold the skin tight and taut while flicking. Getting unstuck. Use plenty of powder on the skin. Moisture between the skin and sugar will prevent the sugar from taking the hair out. If in a tough bind, use water to remove the sugar from the skin. Lay a peel-on strip over the sugar to pull the sugar off. If you cannot get the hair out after trying a few times doing the previous options, then lay it down any direction and pull any direction. So I hope this sugar guide helps you get started on your success with sugaring. Be in contact with us if you have questions about our products or just about using the sugar in general. This guide will definitely help you get started. It has a lot of good tips and tricks that we've learned over the years and wanted to pass it on to help save you time in struggling and learning on your own. Thank you so much for watching and be tuned for the next video coming soon.